me to. Y'all with me? And it was good for us to tell you the truth, because when I stepped back in the head biggest game and I haven't been there, it brought back so much memory.
Y'all don't even know Calvin for CCO. I know Calvin, you know what I mean?
The gears are now turning toward what could be a majority draw between Javante, Tank Davis, and Lamont Roach Jr., with the possibility of this result being overturned. This has ignited an unexpected rift between Tank and his coach, Calvin Ford, especially in light of what transpired in his corner during the fight. Tank's performance against Roach was utter chaos, and the result was a fitting reflection of the turmoil in his boxing. Now, in response to Calvin Ford's departure, the World Boxing Association's lightweight champion, Tank Davis, has spoken out.
I don't know, did y'all see me in the ring tell him to keep counting? he started counting. I was like, why you stop? Like, keep counting. But
Coach Calvin Ford's reaction came shortly after Lamont Roach Jr.'s team and the New York State Athletic Commission made an announcement about possibly overturning the results of the match. Dan Raphael of Fight Freaks Unite reported on Tuesday that Roach Jr.'s lawyer, Greg Smith, had sent a letter to the executive director of the New York State Athletic Commission, Matt __. In the 4-page letter, Raphael also mentioned that Smith is asking the commission to change the majority draw into a win for Roach Jr. on Monday. The New York State Athletic Commission released a statement saying they are reviewing the controversial decision made by referee Steve Willis in the 9th round. They also explained that technical difficulties prevented them from reviewing the call earlier.
Because it was something that we didn't do. It's something that we normally do. Y'all with me? And it was good for us to tell you.
Davis took a knee after Roach Jr. landed a punch and then had his face wiped off by one of his cornermen. Referee Steve Willis began a count, initially treating Davis taking a knee as a knockdown. However, he allowed the fight to continue. The New York State Athletic Commission is currently reviewing what happened during the Saturday match between Lamont Roach and Javante Davis. The commission responded, saying that after they requested a replay video of the round in question, there was a technical issue that prevented them from receiving it in time. As a result, the referee's in-ring decision was used, and the fight went on.
It's good with Calvin because it's the first time he's not the head trainer in a while.
Yeah, for sure. Calvin, again, I said Calvin's.
The commission is committed to maintaining the integrity of combat sports and is dedicated to working with all promotions and production teams to ensure that technical issues do not happen in the future. Their goal is to make sure that ringside instant replay feeds are always available to the commission's officials when needed, to avoid any delays or issues. Lamont Roach Jr., the World Boxing Association junior lightweight champion, fought Javante Davis for his World Boxing Association lightweight title on Saturday at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York. Had referee Steve Willis ruled Davis taking a knee as a knockdown, and the 3 judges scored the round 10-8 for Roach Jr., he would have won the fight by unanimous decision. Instead, Eric Malinsky scored the fight 115-113 in favor of Tank, while Steve Weisfeld and Glenn Feldman each had it 114.
He will always be around, you know what I mean? So, that's pop.
Feldman and Marinsky scored the 9th round in favor of Davis, while Weisfeld gave the round to Roach Jr. Protests rarely result in overturned decisions in boxing. But if there was ever a case where that could happen, this might be it. This situation has also raised another big question about the relationship between Tank Davis and Calvin Ford. I got Calvin tattooed on me. Calvin ain't going anywhere. Calvin is like Pops. He ain't going anywhere. Tank Davis said just 6 weeks before the fight with Lamont Roach. But this time, Calvin Ford wasn't in Tank's corner. The 30-year-old Davis may have paid a huge price for that, as it was the first non-victory fight of his career.
Yeah, it's without me, without Calvin, it wouldn't be no me. You know what I mean? Because at first, when I came into the...
While Tank Davis believed he would have Calvin Ford by his side on March 1st, the veteran coach had his own reasons for choosing not to coach Davis for this particular fight. Now, with the possibility of his draw against Roach being overturned to a loss, Calvin Ford has stepped away from the team. For a long time, fans were accustomed to seeing the familiar duo of Calvin Ford and Kenny Ellis together, much like the legendary partnership of Mike Tyson and Cus D'Amato. In more recent examples, Canelo and Eddie Reynoso, or even Pacquiao and Roach come to mind. This trio of Tank Davis, Calvin Ford, and Kenny Ellis had become iconic in the eyes of fans. However, seeing Barry Hunter accompany Davis instead was not the sight fans had hoped for. One wonders what might have caused the change. Speaking with Fight Hub TV, Calvin Ford provided some insight into the situation. Davis fought on his second PBC Amazon Prime Video PPV card, and aside from the main event, the show at the Barclays Center featured several exciting fights, including 2 light welterweight title bouts. Like many, Ford expected a good fight and was eager to see how Davis's training would show in the ring. With Tank coming from Baltimore and Roach from DC, Ford recalled that the two had sparred together often in the gym. He respected Roach's work ethic and saw this as a great opportunity. Maybe people are misreading the situation. We ain't changing up anything, Ford said. I'm just taking a step back, but the training structure remains the same. The reporter made it clear that they weren't suggesting a breakup or falling out between Ford and Tank. They just wanted to know if the temporary separation made their bond stronger, like when family members spend time apart and then appreciate each other more when they reunite. No, he came to see me, dead slow down and worrying about you because boom, he knows I spend time with my amateurs. You know me. Both of y'all know me very well. I spend time with my amateurs all the time. That's my piece, replied Coach Ford. Even though he wasn't directly training Tank, knowing where he was and that he was training gave him a sense of reassurance. He admitted that being away from Davis allowed both of them to appreciate their bond. When Ford returned to the gym, he could tell that the lightweight champion missed him, just as Ford missed him. A similar sense of reassurance also came from Barry Hunter. Calvin will be there, Coach Barry will be there, Coach Boogie will be there, and Kenny will be there as well, he said during an interview. While Calvin Ford and Kenny Ellis won't be in Tank's corner, he and the other coaches will still be there, suggesting it's not a major issue. Hunter wanted to remind everyone that this isn't the first time changes have happened in Tank's corner. He has been involved with Tank since his amateur days and early career, and he is not new to Tank's team, like Ford. He also pointed out that the internet often spreads misinformation, and people make assumptions without knowing the full story. He emphasized that Tank is like family, so fans should rest assured that this seems like a temporary shakeup that might go back to the old setup when Tank Davis returns after a few months. Tank Davis's history of slow starts almost cost him on Saturday night. Davis defended his WBA lightweight championship against Lamont Roach Jr., and the fight ended in a majority draw in front of a shocked, sold-out crowd of 19,250 at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York. Davis retained his title in a fight he'd probably prefer to forget soon. 2 judges scored the fight 114-114, while a third judge had it 115-113 in favor of Davis. ESPN scored the fight 114-114 as well. Lamont is a great fighter, Davis said after the fight. He's got the skills, like I said before, and he's got punching power. It was a lesson, and hopefully, we can run it back. In a strange moment that could have changed the fight, Davis unexpectedly took a knee in the 9th round after getting hit by a jab. However, referee Steve Willis decided not to count it as a knockdown for Roach. Davis explained that he went to a knee because grease from his hair had gotten into his eye. The fight continued without any penalty, but the knockdown could have given Roach the advantage. Had the knockdown been called, Roach could have won the 9th round with a 10-8 score. Instead, 2 of the judges scored the round 10-9 for Davis. I just got my hair done 2 days ago, and she put grease in my hair, Davis explained. When I was sweating and things like that, it burned my eyes. Roach didn't disagree with Davis's explanation of the situation, but he made it clear that the rules should have been followed, and he should have been awarded a knockdown. If you take a knee and the ref starts counting, it should be a knockdown, Roach said. If that's a knockdown, I win the fight. I'm not banking on that knockdown to win, but I thought I pulled it out. Davis entered the fight as a huge favorite, and many expected him to get his 29th career knockout by stopping Roach, who was making his lightweight debut. But despite a pro-Davis crowd, Tank couldn't deliver the highlight reel finish his fans were hoping for. Instead, Roach stood his ground. took what the hard-hitting Davis threw at him and responded with shots that surprised not only Davis, but also the crowd. The usually patient Davis got off to a slow start in the early rounds, waiting for Roach to make a mistake he could take advantage of. "I feel like Lamont definitely won," Davis said after the fight. "I definitely feel like Lamont Roach won. But a draw. I mean, it is what it is, you know. I ain't hating on the decision." Roach, however, refused to give Davis the opening he needed to counter and take control. Early in the fight, Davis smiled and even talked to Roach, but once he realized his opponent wasn't backing down under the bright lights, Davis had to get serious. Roach, 29, had faced Davis in the amateurs before, but had come up short. Their careers took different paths once they turned pro, with Davis becoming one of boxing's biggest stars, and Roach known as a solid fighter who lost his only other chance at a world championship in a defeat to Jamal Herring for the WBO super featherweight title in 2019. Davis's rise to stardom was highlighted by his knockout win over Ryan Garcia in 2023, where he claimed to be the face of boxing. However, he almost let that title slip away with his underwhelming performance. Their past may have given Davis a false sense of confidence heading into the fight, but Roach was fully prepared for everything Tank had to offer, including his famous fight-ending power. By the middle rounds, Davis's smile faded as he realized the knockout he had expected wasn't going to come easily. The champion started to throw more punches to create openings, but Roach stood his ground, landing counters and combinations. Davis focused almost entirely on attacking the body, banging away as Roach remained aggressive and kept moving forward without hesitation. Roach would sneak in a counter whenever Davis's attack slowed down. In round 8, Roach stunned Davis with a counter right hand, though Davis was never in serious danger. The counterpunching showed Davis that he couldn't just charge in recklessly. "I feel like I was breaking him down as the rounds went on, but he kept coming, so I didn't want to make any mistakes," Davis said. "I kept it cautious." Realizing the fight could be slipping away, Davis, 30, took control in the championship rounds. Although he landed some big power shots, he never came close to hurting Roach. However, his increased activity earned him the final 2 rounds on all 3 scorecards, allowing him to salvage the draw and leave New York with his title. Davis landed 103 of 279 punches in a very economical performance, while Roach was more active, landing 112 of 400 punches. "I'm just a little disappointed in the decision," Roach said. "I thought I pulled it out, but that's what 2 skilled fighters do. I definitely thought I won, but we could run it back. Even though I didn't win tonight, I thought I did. And it's a win for me in my book. We're not satisfied with that. We need a real win." Recently, it was announced that there's been a split between trainer Calvin Ford and Javante Davis after more than a decade together. Coach Calvin Ford has confirmed the news, explaining that several external factors contributed to the separation. Whether it's due to issues in the training camp or simply Ford's reluctance to discuss the situation, Javante Davis has remained silent on these matters since the rumors first began. Until now. Breaking his silence, the story changes a bit, and now it's not just about Calvin Ford's actions, but also an issue involving Leonard Ellerbe. It was revealed that ever since Leonard Ellerbe left Mayweather Promotions, he no longer had to stay neutral between Tank Davis and Floyd Mayweather Jr. after his departure. Ellerbe started focusing all of his attention on Tank Davis. While Leonard Ellerbe has been helpful, Calvin Ford believes many of Tank Davis's bad decisions can be traced back to Ellerbe. "When I talk to him, I'm not talking to little Tank anymore. I'm talking to a grown man," Ford said. After being with Davis for so many years, it's surprising to see the change. This is why Calvin Ford hasn't been comfortable with Leonard Ellerbe's constant presence. In the past, Tank Davis's team consisted of Calvin Ford and Kenny Ellis. Even when they were under the Floyd Mayweather Promotions banner, their bond was so strong that Floyd Mayweather Jr. had to respect their unity. However, since leaving Mayweather Promotions and bringing Ellerbe into the fold, their relationship has been strained. Tank Davis has made some poor career choices, and his team believes he's been manipulated by Leonard Ellerbe. According to Davis's trainers, the entire camp is against his close relationship with Ellerbe. To them, Ellerbe is only interested in whoever is profitable. He was with Floyd Mayweather when he saw what he could gain from him, and once that ended, he moved on to Tank Davis. This is exactly how Davis's team feels about Ellerbe, which led to Tank eventually deciding to part ways with his coach, Calvin Ford. Ellerbe played a major role in the growth of Mayweather Promotions during Floyd Mayweather's career, helping to promote some of the biggest fights, including Mayweather versus Pacquiao. He also played a key role in promoting Gervonta Davis's career, turning him into a pay-per-view star. Ellerbe also promoted Davis's fight with Frank Martin on Saturday, after being let go by Floyd Mayweather. Since Tank Davis separated from Mayweather Promotions in 2022, he has faced off against top opponents like Rolando Romero, Hector Luis Garcia, Ryan Garcia, and Frank Martin, some of the best names in the lightweight division. So, it's not hard to see why Davis felt leaving his former mentor was the right decision for his career. At least, that's what boxing commentator Showbiz the Adult believes. In recent months, Tank Davis has been feuding with Floyd Mayweather on social media, with both sides taking jabs at each other. After Davis's recent fight against Frank Martin and Leonard Ellerbe's departure from Mayweather Promotions, the boxing commentator explained why leaving Mayweather Promotions was the best decision for Davis's career. The commentator, who is popular on YouTube for his boxing insights, shared a short clip titled, "Tank Davis leaving Floyd was the best thing for his career." At first glance, it might seem strange to think leaving Floyd Mayweather, the biggest name in the sport, would be the best move. However, the commentator explained that Floyd's mindset is all about money. A lot has changed for Tank Davis, and we now understand more clearly, especially when we look back at what Coach Calvin Ford unintentionally predicted for Davis's future before his fight with Frank Martin. Before that fight, Davis was absent during the media workout, and Coach Calvin Ford was there to represent him. During that time, Ford said a few things that now seem to have come back to haunt him, as the situation between him and Tank Davis continues to unfold. Now we understand why Coach Calvin Ford said, "Watching him in camp scares me because of things he's doing and his maturity. When he gets in that ring, he'll hurt Frank Martin." Ford noticed that Davis was paying close attention to everything around him, staying focused and listening carefully to conversations. Speaking to Fight Hype, Coach Ford urged people not to read too much into the situation, implying that things weren't as complicated as they might seem. "I want to apologize to the fans," Ford said, addressing the delay that had killed the excitement that had built up for the scheduled arrival, which was now 90 minutes late. He can't make it right now because he's been delayed, but he's going to make it up to you all on fight night. Trust me, you're going to want to see the performance he's going to put on. Ford then spoke directly to the fans, saying, "How long have you all known Tank? I used to do the same thing you do, but I stopped. Let him just do what he does, because that's what makes Tank. I don't know how his body feels, you know. Sometimes you have to go to work, and you don't always feel like it." Ford reassured the fans, saying they were getting ready to roll out, and that he was optimistic about Davis making the press conference. "I've never seen Tank miss a press conference," Ford said. "Let's look at history. Let's look at the stats." Finally, Calvin Ford warned Frank Martin on behalf of his absent fighter, Tank Davis, saying, "We're back in business. We've been waiting for this for a while." Ford spoke about Davis's first fight back after 14 months, saying, "We want to put on a great performance. We want to put on a great performance for the fans at the end of the day." Truly, Tank Davis has been scaring everyone, and it's not just Calvin Ford. Even Floyd Mayweather and Devin Haney have felt it. That's all for now. For the best updates on news and moments, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.